Hey, good morning, guys. It's me, Kevin Bogdaney, aka Slim Jim. Many other things. I've been called a lot of things over the years. um, so anyway, it's been a minute, um, but I wanted to take some time today to try to shoot another video. I've actually intended on shooting it many days before now, but it hasn't happened. But anyway, good morning. It's not coffee, but it's a cup of something and a sunrise. How about that? Maybe that's what I should have named it, a cup of something and a sunrise. Um, so I just wanted to say good morning. We're better together and kind of give you guys an update. I know I kind of shot out a video last week. Um, so I guess we can start there. I had PET scans and MRIs last week, and then I did a fourth round of chemo. I was really hoping this stuff was going to get easier as we went along, and that does not seem to be the case for me just yet. Um, so 4 rounds in the books. I had the MRI, had the PET scan. So the MRI came back, and I went in. I think it was Monday or Tuesday for a doctor's appointment because I did chemo Wednesday and Thursday. Then I worked remote from home Friday, and the weekend was rough. So I didn't get a whole lot of anything accomplished the weekend at all. Um, so let's talk about all right, so I had a doctor's appointment Monday to review the MRI. So the headaches, I've been having headaches. And basically we found out what the headaches are from. The MRI revealed that I have according to my doctor and my nurse, a huge cyst in my I don't know if it's in the sinus cavity or the canal, but it said it's completely blocking my sinus canal cavity or whatever it be, and it's putting a lot of pressure. Um, so between that and the chemo, and he thinks that possibly the chemo and the steroids are what has made it huge, which I don't understand none of this stuff that I'm going through or what I'm dealing with, but it's just odd to me that, and I was awake all last night. I haven't slept. Kind of thinking through this again, and I'm like, okay, so maybe it's because I'm thinking if I'm getting chemo that's supposed to be killing, it's a poison, it's killing everything in my body. Why is this cyst growing and not dying? But then again, I think, and this is just me thinking, I don't know. I know that my cancer is a blood cancer, and I know, so maybe it's the chemo and all that is stuff that is blood related. I don't know, and it doesn't affect sinuses anyway. I don't know what they are either. So my headaches are still there, and ultimately he is going to refer me to a specialist. So he doesn't want to do anything for my headaches, and I am not going to badmouth this guy because he is amazing. He is a great oncologist. So he has just told me to continue trying to take Tylenol, and he has also put on the table that I can, because before he had told me I couldn't alternate with ibuprofen or Advil or whatever it be, but he has told me to go ahead and do that, and as often as I need. But I'm still trying not to do those things. So anyway, the headaches aren't going away right now, and I did get up this morning and take my meds. So that's the MRI. That's where we are with that. He's going to refer me to a specialist, and I'm going to call and follow up with him this week because I know cancer is his ballywhack, so to speak, and it's important to him, but these headaches are important to me right now. And so we're going to follow up on that stuff. So MRIs. I'm not going to go down the whole list of symptoms that I'm dealing with and the stuff that's got me in pain and not feeling good, because I'm tired of complaining about that. But I will touch on the PET scan. So basically, I went in and sat down. Leah has taken so much time off work, and that she was able to, she like conferenced in on this doctor's appointment, mainly because I never can get the stuff straight. So she needs to hear it firsthand, because I will butcher something up big time, quick, fast, and in a hurry. I don't understand medical lingo and jargon and all that stuff, and I don't definitely understand the body and that kind of thing. So anyway, so she was on the phone with me, and he comes in, and as he's opening the door, and that's one of the things I love about this guy. He's so passionate. He's so excited. He says to me, "It's gone." He said, "Your body has responded supernaturally to this chemo, and your cancer is gone. It is out of your body. You are in 100% remission." So glory to God. I was just like flabbergasted. I didn't have anything to say. I had no words. I was just like, because I expected, under circumstances and the way things had been going, I was feeling worse, not better. So I expected it to be like it's starting to work, or we may have to do this, or we may have to do that, because I've got a lot of friends and family and people that are going through, and they're having to change chemos, and they're having to try this, and they're having to try that. So the absolute last thing that I expected under the circumstances was that I was going to be cancer free. That was short-lived joy with me, because my mother was also cancer free a couple months before she passed. She rang the bell. She was cancer free, and she was coming back for the next month to get put on a maintenance regimen of chemo, to kind of polish things off and move forward. And it was full blown stage 4 when she came back. And then she passed not too long after that, because that's when she kind of determined that she was not going to do chemo anymore. So that was the next question to my doctor. I was like, "Oh man, that's great. That's good news." I said, "But my mom was cancer free with ovarian, and that didn't end well with her." I said, "So I don't know that I'm going to be jumping for joy just yet." And he went on to tell me that I was not comparing apples to apples, that ovarian is a very different type of cancer. Ovarian, and he lumped it with some others. Ovarian, bone, anyway, he put those cancers kind of together and said those cancers, he said, it is a very total remission, he said, is almost off the board. He said to get into total remission with any of those type of cancers, he said it's probably like less than a 10-15% chance. He said, but the cancer that you have, he said, we can get there, and we can stay there if you stick to the plan. It's almost stick to the plan. And I've trusted God, of course, to put this man in my path, and I'm trusting this man at this point in time, and he's done right by me so far. So anyway, we're going to keep praying for that Hail Mary that I seem to have been blessed with. So I'm in remission. And I was, like I said, I was excited about that. But then I was really excited, because it's like, if I'm in remission, forget this chemo, I'm out. And he said that is not an option. He said you have to, and at that point in time, remember this was last Monday, I think it was, I was getting ready to do chemo the next day or the day after, and he's like, round 4 is a done deal. He said, we've got to do round 4. He said, and we're going to finish out this six cycle stint. He said, and that's not an option. He said, so you will be going through 2 more rounds of chemo. I said, okay, if that's what I got to do, that's what I'll do. If if there's an opportunity for me to continue to do the Lord's work and be on this planet a little bit longer with my friends and family, then I'm down for 6 months of suck. I signed on for 6 months of suck to start with, and and the good Lord has blessed me with this halfway through. So we're down and we'll do it. Um, but it ain't getting no easier. So I've had a lot of stuff from this fourth round, new stuff that I didn't experience from the first one. It was actually my intention today to go to work. I had originally worked it out with my supervisor to work remote today, be on site tomorrow will be Wednesday and Thursday, and then remote Friday. And I had wanted to, after fourth round, ramp it up and start working 3 days on site, and then gradually get up to 4 and 5 and finish this thing out. But this weekend was not good for me, and that's not going to happen. My boss was absolutely fine with it because the original schedule was Wednesday and Thursday anyway. I was trying to probably do something that I maybe shouldn't have, but I'm hoping, because this is supposedly the week that will be the toughest. So I'm hoping that maybe next week, towards the end of next week or the middle of next week, I can get that third day in at work on site. And then it should be back to about time for round 5. Let's see. Yeah, because that'll be 14. Yeah, so we'll be getting geared up for round 5. But long story short, and it's weird because I took my medicines today. I'm still, I'm down. My steroid has dropped down. But the first couple days, man, I was so fired up. I mean, I was just so blessed to get that diagnosis, and that beautiful hummingbirds and the woodpeckers, man, they're just going at it today. Leah would be having a field day. She was out here yesterday with her camera getting some pretty good shots of, wildlife, birds, whatever it be. I don't think she took any squirrels, but I know she's trying to get ready for some deer and stuff. But anyway, right now, I got some things going on, so y'all can probably tell I want to do this video, but I really wanted to wait because I wanted to get that passion back and be fired up and so excited. But this is making it hard for me to. I mean, I know that's crazy. You're like, what the world is wrong with you, dude? God has given you life. He's given you hope, and you're not feeling excited about it. I do feel excited about it. I just can't feel excited about it. I just can't share it or show it right now. But anyway, but we're gonna get there, man. And if today's video is a dud, maybe I do give it one more shot when I'm feeling better and can kind of revisit, because last week was an emotional wreck for me, because every time I tried to share with somebody, I was going to keep it under wraps, but then I started putting the word out because I felt like I was going to have trouble making a video, putting a video together, because what I want to say seems like it's going to be a lengthy video, and I know nobody really likes that. So maybe this will be a 2-parter, I don't know. But anyway, so I started kind of texting people, and every time I was texting people and telling them I'm crying, they crying. My dad is so excited, but he's kind of like me, and I shared this with my pastor. The last 3 months of life has taught me to wait on the other foot to drop. So I'm sad that I'm not jumping for joy and fired up today, because it is my goal still in life every day to wake up above ground. Every day that God gives me, I'm above ground with breath in my lungs, and I want to make that day count. But this weekend, I feel like I'm wasting them. I feel like I'm wasting days just sitting here moping and being tired. I'm right back. No sleep. Leah rolled over at 5 a.m. and she said, "Are you still watching TV?" And she said, can we turn the TV off? And I was like, well, I am watching it, but I will turn it off. I was watching the Dodger game again, because this past stretch, man, I don't know if y'all been keeping up with my Dodgers, but man, we didn't have a good run with the San Francisco, so we kind of thumped on. Oh boy, I don't even remember who we played, but anyway, we kind of were thumping on somebody last night, so I watched it more than once. kind of enjoy that, you know. But anyway, so they need to get it back together. But Giants just got some great pitching, man. They really did, and it is what it is. But anyway, so I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole, but so I'm not sleeping. The headaches, the mouth sores. I took all my stuff a little while ago. They're giving me some trouble. Jittery. Things are kind of like in a fog. And then I got a new symptom I shared with somebody this weekend, probably more than I should have. Jimmy, he's always the one that but anyway, but there's some things going on that it's really hard to deal with. Harder for me anyway. But with that said, like I said, man, I've got breath in my lungs. We woke up above ground, and God has blessed me with a diagnosis that I don't deserve. So I got some praying to do, and I got some thinking to do, and meditating, and I've got to really figure out. And I touched on this a little bit, and I don't want you guys to get all freaked out or worried or anything, but so there's this thing called survivor's remorse, according to my nurses and my doctor. And so I'm really struggling a little bit with why me. And I know everybody's like, oh, well, he's got a purpose for you. Well, God finds us all useful, remember? He's got a purpose for all of us. So now I got to really figure out and pray about what's next. I was talking to my pastor, and I said, so you think maybe making a video every couple of weeks, that ain't gonna cut it anymore? Or he's like, no, I think you need to pray hard and find out what, you need to step up the game. So I've got to really meditate on that. And just know, guys, that I want to start with some praises, because that's obviously the huge praise for me, right? But I did last week when I was feeling a little better, still, and had found this information out before I started chemo. I was able to make some notes, which is a real good thing. But basically, it was also asking me, I needed to share with you guys a little couple anecdotes. I wanted to talk about how something happened yesterday. And, I'm being a complete tool bag all day and feeling bad and rough and this and that. So, anyway, Leah sits over, and she's got the chimenea, and she fires up the chimenea, and we'll sit out here in the mornings. And yesterday was cool. It was a cool morning yesterday. So she had the chimenea going, and we're listening to the birds and doing our thing. Her chair's over there, my chair's over here. Well, she went in, and I decided I was going to sit a little bit by the fire. So I go sit in her chair. And Leah is such a sweetheart, man. And she comes out, and she has a wonderful way of telling you stuff or sharing stuff with you without actually sharing stuff with you. So I'm sitting in her chair by the chimenea getting warm. And she comes back out here, and my drink cup was probably down pretty low. And she goes, hey, I'm going to go back in here and fix me a cup of coffee. She goes, your drink's low. She said, you want me to take your cup and get you some drink? Or do you need anything else? And I'm like, I think I'm good, but I would, if you don't mind, go ahead and ramp me up and load me up with some more drinks. So I give her my cup. And then she comes back out here with her coffee and whatever, about, 10 minutes later, whatever it be. And I'm sitting over there, and she sits my drink over here by my chair. And I was like, that was a pretty cool way of asking me to move out of your chair. But anyway, so I would like to be better at that, doing things nice and kind, without saying, because if I'd have come out here and like one of the kids had been on a chair, I'd been like, hey, you need to move. You're in my chair. I mean, it even got to the point where I had to call seat checks with the kids and stuff. But anyway, so praise for the weekend, being able to spend time with Leah, and not fuss and fight, and which her and I, we do, but we don't. Her and I don't really fuss and fight a whole lot anymore, um, which is great, because it's sincerely. Some of you guys maybe have been married 4 or 5 years or whatever it be. Just remember how you fell in love and why you fell in love, and kind of keep finding that fire, because it's hard for two people who are used to doing things their way to come together, but eventually it'll be so much better. You'll learn to get along and love each other more and more every day, and it's a great thing. So hang in there. Remember, when you stand before God and you take that covenant of marriage, divorce is not an option. It's death till you part. So anyway, praises for being able to spend time with the love of my life. And also, I wanted to touch base because somebody asked me. A lot of times, y'all hear me in the videos refer to myself as John, Kevin, whatever. So when I worked at DOC, inmates and staff had to refer to each other by last name. So it was Mr. Bogdani, uh, inmate inmate Johnson, yes, Mr. Bogdani. And then friends called me work work friends, and I don't differentiate. Friends are friends, but I know you from work, or I know you from childhood, or I know you from. So we're still the same kind of friends, but we may be friends that met at work. And typically at work, in the military, when I went in the Army 50 billion thousand years ago, they call you whatever they want. You can't stop that. So when you were in basic and all that, it was recruit, scrub, punk, whatever it be. And then, but in a classroom setting, that kind of thing, they would, a lot of times, first name, John. So they would go by the John. So that's where, because my dad was always John, but then I became John. And I got used to being called John. So in high school and friends growing up, Kevin. So then as I grow, um, I'm used to getting called whatever you call me, man. I got people that call me Kevin. I got people that call me John. I got people that call me Mr. Bogdaddy. I got people that call me K-Bogs, I mean, everything you can think of. So I respond to a lot of different things. Then a couple years ago, I guess it's been probably about 4, 5, maybe more, 5, 7 years. Lee and I went up to Chicago. It was around about this time. I think we went to Chicago for Memorial Day weekend, and we took in a Cubs game. So it was about 7, 8 years ago, because that's when she'd always told me, whatever team I see first, that's who I'm going to pull for. We were in Chicago. We got tickets. We saw the Cubs. Came home that weekend, and Brother Cy had been putting the head, I can't remember what they call it. I think it's the headlock on me or whatever it was, to get me to come to F3 and post with them, to do workout, because I was 372 pounds, and I was what they call a sad clown. I had let work become more important than most other things. I was trying to get right with God, and trying to find my way through that. And I had stopped doing all the things I used to do when I was younger, play football and play this and basketball and baseball and golf, and was watching them on TV and eating. So long story short, I had put on about 20 pounds, 15 to 20 pounds a year for oh man, yeah, 10, 12 years. So I had put on a lot of weight. And I was 372 pounds when we came back from Chicago. I weighed in before I went to work and I went to my first post with F3. These guys meet what I like to call butt crack early, but it's very similar to when I was in boot camp in the military. They did boot camp style workouts. So anyway, when you go through a first workout, and they will smoke you, you get a nickname. Everybody gets a nickname, man. And they basically, you'll kind of step into the circle or whatever it be, tell them a little bit about yourself, and then they kind of watch you a little bit during your first workout and see who you are and what you're made of. And so I work in corrections, and I'm 372 pounds. In the beginning, they had just launched this AO, which is an area workout uh, strut, and I was so pleased to be a part of that launch, man, because it was a bunch of great guys. But Charlotte is where it had originally kind of started, um, and then Charlotte just kind of came into Columbia with it. Had some key guys that were going to help bring this thing out of the ground. And back in the beginning, I don't know what they're doing now for nicknames because there's like a billion guys doing this stuff now. But in the beginning, there was only one Slim Jim. Um, and there was only one Brother Cy, and there was only one Socrates, and there was only one, Altar Boy. Um, and so what they would do is they'd listen to your story and stuff, and you kind of talk through it, and they come up with it. And they like to have to where there was multiple ways that nickname needed to apply. And so the first day, me working in corrections, you locked every door always. Always lock it. Well, when you're working out, you got your little ditty bag because I would leave the workouts and go to SCDC and get showers and stuff in the locker rooms at SCDC. Me and there was a couple guys with SCDC that went and worked out with me. So I put all my stuff in the truck, and usually this was my first time now. After that, we would, I probably shouldn't say this, but anyway, we would hide the keys. We'd lock our trucks up, but we'd hide the keys. Well, on that day, I locked the truck up, went and worked out, and got through, and we were doing names and everything like that, and I realized that I had locked my keys in my truck. And so we had to get a Slim Jim to pop the truck door so I could get into the truck and go to work. And that was the one stick, right? That was the one way, because I worked in corrections and had locked my keys in the truck. So we needed the Slim Jim. And then the other one was just a simple fact that I was 372 pounds. So Slim just seemed appropriate, and it did, and it stuck. So that's how I got my name, and they had a lot of fun with that. And over the years, there's been several different occasions where tributes were made to me on hikes and stuff, and where we would stop and eat a Slim Jim. We would snap into a Slim Jim, and there was many Qs, and a Q is a guy that kind of orchestrates the boot camp workout, where they would definitely snap into a Slim Jim. But long story short, when I started working out with those guys, I was 372 pounds, and when I left them to come to Charlotte, Kings Mountain, and I had not worked out with them for probably 6-8 months before I left, because I had gone through a surgery. I had a sinus surgery, and I also ended up having to have my wisdom teeth out. So anyway, there were 2 back-to-back surgeries, and a lot of times what happens with that is you kind of get put on the shelf. So I was not able to work out at the time. So anyway, I started with them at 372, and when I quit, I was down to about 290, but I was solid as a rock. And my goal weight then was only 275. So anyway, those guys, and it was a lot of work, man. It was a lot of work. It was 5-6 days a week I was working out. I was posting to the run groups. I was hitting the kettlebells. I was hitting the boot camps. And then when I got put on the shelf, I was still trying to go to they have the boneyard, which is basically for guys that are broke, can still come and get a workout in. And I was getting my workouts in there. But then some things went down at work, and I ended up moving, and then next thing you know, and I started putting some weight back on, and I had probably gotten back up to the 320, 330 mark. And then when we moved, I mean, just, yeah, in a few months, I had put all that weight back on. And then when we got over here and I went to work with Windsor, I was slammed back up to 375 pounds. And then at Windsor, luckily, I had good insurance and this and that. And I started looking into, because my doctor told me at my age um, that I could never, and we used to say this all the time in F3, you cannot outwork a bad diet. But anyway, so I ended up having to bypass surgery, and it worked well for me. But anyway, I wanted to kind of let you guys know where the nickname Slim Jim come from. It's basically because I'm a big doof and a moron, and I lock my keys in my car. My first workout, and I was morbidly obese at that workout, and it almost killed me. No, it was very, very tough. I can remember not hardly being able to move after my first several workouts. But the fact of the matter is, you got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And if you go one and done, that's not going to work. You got to keep going and keep struggling through the workouts. And eventually, the muscles, you know, don't lock up. But you kind of get, the more the body moves and gets used to it, the more the body moves and gets used to it. But anyway, what I wanted to do today, that's me in a nutshell. That was the Slim Jim intro. And probably if I wasn't feeling a little bit under the weather, I could have probably had a little more fun with that story. But those guys were amazing, and they smoked me. And I'm glad they did. Because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without them, because I learned so much. And now that I'm in a place, God has placed me at a situation, and I'm not talking about the cancer, I'm talking about after the bypass surgery. I'm so much smarter as far as eating and things that I did not know before that I learned through F3, because it is not just a workout group. It's faith, fellowship, and fitness. It's the 3 F's, and the third F, I would be willing to bet you, is as important to them as any. Long story short, I learned a lot about being a good, godly man and an educated man as far as how health and fitness and eating should be. Good carbs, bad carbs, quantity control, which was something that I struggled with all my life, and those guys were able to kind of help me get through that. And here we are today, and I'm in a much better place. God has just kind of brought all this full circle for me. So I want to go through, and man, I'm so sorry, but this is just going to be a long video, guys. It really is. And it might be that I just break this thing down and do a two-parter, because, and maybe that's what I do. I can stop it right here so y'all can watch it again tomorrow, because I'm fixing to get into the second part of this. But anyway, I just wanted you guys to know that God has blessed me with good news. I'm excited about the good news. I'm excited that you guys have been there for me for this. But I am going to go ahead and shut this video down. Maybe I'll change my hat so y'all at least think it's a different day when I come back on the second part. But I just wanted you guys to know and to revel and enjoy and bask in God's glory for me, that I may have a little bit more to my story than I had originally was told by the doctors and man and medicine, because God does have a bigger plan. He's got a different plan anyway. And just like we talked about Onesimus, anyway, when we talked about that guy, he's useful. I'm useful. We're all useful. And at the end of the day, I could still get hit by a bus going to work tomorrow. So there's some things I want to talk about in this next video. So you guys, man, hang in there. Stop it here today, and then we'll get back at it later on when y'all have time. But remember, when you get out there today, remember that God's got an opportunity for you. He's given us breath in our lungs. We are better. We are so much better together, because I could not be where I am at today without each and every one of you, prayer warriors, friends, encouraging me, just everything that's been going on. And at the end of the day, as much as crazy as this sounds, um, this was a blessing from beginning to end, and I'll get into that in a minute. But right now, y'all go get after today. Um, Make it count. Love somebody. Show them God's glory. Show them God's love through you. Um, and just remember, man, that I love each and every one of you, but God loves you so much more. Enjoy today. We're better together. Have a good one.